We're going to have 2 panels today. In the first group of panels, there'll be, I think, 5 or 6 people in the first one. And you'll be called up. Diane, that will be part of, where's Diane? Diane's here somewhere. There's Diane. My good friend, Diane Wilkerson, is going to be moderating the panels. And the first panel will come up and grab the water. And take your water with you, please, so that no one will take it over. And we also hope that we'll be finished with everything by 3:30. We have this room reserved until 3:30. We may have to go until 4. We'll see what happens. But this is a great thing. Let me also introduce one of the first people I hired. I opened Institute in 2005, and we just celebrated our 10th anniversary this past fall in Washington, D.C. And one of the first people I hired was David Harris. And why? It's Dr. David Harris. He's not a lawyer, but he is a genius in every sense of the word. He's been very instrumental for everything that we're doing here, bringing people here, sponsoring programs like this. The only thing that I didn't really appreciate was the fact that following Houstonian principles, David made sure that all of our events on the vineyard and elsewhere were always free and open to the public. That's going to change quickly. We have some big bills to pay, huge bills to pay because of that, and we appreciate the support that we've been able to get from the community. The other thing I want to say about David is that he's been coming up with novel ideas about how important it is to talk about issues, and we have these forums. And he has been very successful in creating these Houston labs, number 1, and also talking about community justice, number 2. Those are very important things for us to do here at Harvard and that the whole world know. All our programs are taped and available on our website a few days after we show them. And I hope you'll encourage your friends to see it. Finally, let me just say this. I saw the movie Selma. How many people have seen the movie Selma? It is a breathtaking film. I urge everybody to go and see it. They say it's only for children 13 and older. It was a lesson for me. As much as I knew about King and knew about the Civil Rights Movement, I learned a lot from watching the movie, not just reading books, but watching the movie about Selma. And it told me a lot about it, and what was going on. And it told me a lot about some of the other people. One of my colleagues here at Harvard Law School has written a lot about the unknown people who were very involved in the Civil Rights Movement, who are beyond Malcolm X and Dr. King and other people that you know about. And I think that it's important to see this film to get a sense of all the people who had a big impact. So you will see the man who made the Institute what it is today, and he's been the executive director. I call him the managing director, and he's trying to figure out what does that mean. He manages everything and he directs everything. A great man, and please welcome him to the stage, David Harris.
So now you know why we appreciate him so much. All right, so with that, and with no further ado, it's really my pleasure to introduce Andre Norman, who has been the driving force behind this event and this program.
Good afternoon. And I just want to thank you for attending. It's still overwhelming and amazing to me that this is real. I remember a time when I lived in Four Corners and we couldn't cross Park Street because it wasn't allowed. My father couldn't go. My father was the only black kid who could cross Park Street because my grandfather worked at the gas station. And everybody else got turned around. The busing crisis, I remember they threw rocks at us and called us names because it was in the interest of justice and moving forward, progression. But we're here. I'm not here to talk about what didn't work. I'm not here to talk about who did what to whom, to me, or whatever day. This is about legacy. This is about generations. And my nephew stands with me today. Say hello.
Hello.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Benjamin Evie.
And my cousins in the back, my auntie's in the back, my cousin's husband's here. We have good friends of mine in the corner, on the McMillan family, the McAdam family. There's tons of folks that are in this audience. I want to thank everybody who knows me, doesn't know me, who just cares about the issues for coming out. The panelists for agreeing to come and taking up their time. Senator Wilkinson for coming out and agreeing to moderate. And we have the NAACP in the back doing wonderful work in the city. And this is about, for me, solutions. I spent 14 years locked in a cell in Massachusetts as a convicted felon. And for many of those years, I focused on hatred. I focused on fighting not the battle of solutions, but the battle of hatred. And I couldn't win it. It wasn't until I decided to fight for solutions, first for myself and then for others, did a reality become the place of I can make a difference. And when I sat in a cell in 1991 at Norfolk State Prison, I said to myself, I want to go to Harvard and become successful. And I stepped out my cell and I told my friends, I figured out how I'm going to change my life. I'm going to go to Harvard and be successful. And they laughed at me. They said, you can't go to Harvard. You're black. You're poor. You're a high school dropout. And you're here with us. And I didn't argue with them. I went to school and I educated myself. I went to counseling because I had mental health and anger issues. And I just continued to look for mentors and objectives that supported where I wanted to go. And when I came out, I did find my way to Harvard. Professor Ogletree was one of the brothers who welcomed me, and I was here. And they called me and said, Dre, where you at? I'm at Harvard, man. I don't have to sneak in. They invite me. I used to sneak into this place, man. I'm like, I'm invited. And I can say, Professor Gates, Professor West, and Professor Ogletree are, for me, standing idols that I can look up to and now stand next to, not above, but next to, and say, I'm here. And it's a great thing. And I want my nephew to know. And I've got my little daughter over there, Minnie. I want her to know. She was one of the kids in my program back at Madison Park in 2001. We're still going. You can. Whatever the problem, whatever the issue, you can. And so I want to make a distinction because the sister brought it to my attention. The movie is called Saving St. Louis. Then we have two panels discussions. The panels are not Saving St. Louis. The movie is separate from the panels. The panels are about Black Lives Matter. The panels are about how do we create a better place for everyone to live and stay alive. That's the panel discussion. There is a distinction. It's not like the panel is about saving St. Louis. The panel is about saving lives, period. The movie itself is, I went to St. Louis a few years back and I actually met with Dave Spence and his wife, and they asked me if I could be helpful with a particular school that they had been working at for 5 years. They've been in the school for 5 years trying to make it better, an inner city black school, and they were having some successes, but they wanted more, and they thought I could be helpful. So they engaged me and asked me to participate and join their team to save Roosevelt High School. And when I went into Roosevelt, I saw some things that looked no different than Boston, New Jersey, South Central, Atlanta, and a lot of other places. And I went about doing my best to make it better. And I'm not going to tell the movie because that's not good form. But I just want to say again, I appreciate you, I love you, and I wish my mom and dad could be here, but they can't. But you're here, so I'm cool with that. So nephew, you ready? You sure? Mm-hmm. And I want to say thank you to Jamodi Robinson, who actually filmed the film. He's in the back. The producer and director, Dan Curran, couldn't be here today. He's with his son in Florida, but he sends his wishes. And this is the movie. Thank you. Thank you so much for sitting through the video. We apologize for the technical difficulties. Life happens, and we adjust, and we push forward. And I'm going to call up some brothers who helped me in doing this. Dr. Lance McCarthy, a well-known economist from St. Louis, Missouri. Reverend Charles Shelton, local community leader who's in Missouri on the ground every day. Mr. David Spence, who was also in the movie, local business leader and Ferguson 1000 president. If I could, I would call up all the protesters and all the folks who are on the ground in Missouri, who are on the ground in Ferguson and Cleveland, all the rest of the cities that are under siege. But for today, this is we're going to talk. They're going to give a few brief comments about the movie. In the interest of time, we're going to move to the panels because I believe you can't see the panels, not me. So, Reverend Charles, would you like to share your thoughts and comments and reflections on the movie, please?
Hello, how are you? All right, first I have to give honor to God, who is truly the head of my life Second of all, today is my birthday, and I have a twin.
All right.
Hold on. I have a twin sister. So best believe I have to make sure that she knows that I had said happy birthday, and she realizes that this is the only reason that I am not with her. Because out of 45 years, we spent every birthday together, okay? So I need you all to say happy birthday, Charlene. Happy birthday. Thank you, and I'm sure this is being recorded. Now, saving St. Louis meant a lot to me. And the main reason it meant so much to me because, like he said, I'm on the ground floor. There's nothing like being on the ground floor, which means I actually get to see exactly what my young people are going through. I actually get to see exactly what my older people are going through. I actually get to see exactly what's going on in these streets. That, to me, makes all the difference in the world. I could easily have found me a job and sat in someone's office. I could easily have sat at home every day and just did nothing. God blessed me to be self-employed. But the main thing I enjoy is the fact that, one, Mark Twain said it best. He said the two most important days of your life is the first day when you're born and the second day when you realize why. Okay? And I tell you, when I realized the reason for my ministry and for my passion, that made all the difference in the world because that allowed me to go out and do what we call neighborhood-based case management. I literally used to go door to door in my communities. And that allowed me to go into a door that I had no idea what I was going to walk into. But to walk into that door and knock and find out from the grandmother to the great-grandchild, I was able to assist that family. The grandmother, I was able to help find her an adult daycare building. The son, I was able to find him a job or either a GED program. And the great-grandchild, I was even able to find him an early childhood education. And that made me be able to realize that, you know what, there are people out here that need help. There are people out here that actually need me. So when Saving St. Louis came out, I felt honored to be a part of that. When the Mike Brown situation happened, that to me was just reality. That to me just showed you all what we were actually dealing with. It's a ticking time bomb that actually exploded. And when that explosion hit, you all just saw Ferguson, but you all didn't get to see all of the other communities that's really being impacted right now. So today, to me, is just saying, welcome to my reality. Welcome to what I have to deal with every day. As a man of God, I realize that God put me on here for a mission, and I enjoy making it. Thank you.
Not here with us today. There's tons of brothers who are in the movie that Charles works with on a daily basis, the gang members and the brothers who are on the street trying to find a way, and I was able to connect to them by connecting to Charles, and I want to say he's there. Dr. E. Lance McCarthy, world-known economist and great brother, can you share your comments on the movie, please?
Thank you, Andre, and just as Reverend Charles said, I was very, very excited to be a part of Saving St. Louis. It is Miles Monroe who says very eloquently that once you have defined your purpose in life, you don't want the sun to set, nor can you wait for it to rise, because there's not enough hours in the day to do what you've been called to do. And I've been very blessed to have my purpose, and that is to assist African Americans' economic justice. We saw at the beginning of the film, it talked about justice and economics. Now, there are a myriad of problems that affect our culture and our country. But I truly believe, just at Maslow, that we have to be able to provide basics, that is jobs and home and shelter. African Americans contribute over $1 trillion to this economy on an annual basis. However, the equity is not on the job side and the economic side. And it has to be a strategy and a placement to be able to do that. I believe once you provide individuals that basic need, you're able to contribute more to society. And St. Louis, just like a lot of cities, profile that. When we look at the unemployment rate, of course, African Americans are sometimes double to triple times on the unemployment side. So how do you create that mechanism? And again, in Saving St. Louis, you saw a myriad of individuals coming together to move that agenda forward. And I always say that you cannot solve economic problems with social solutions. We have a lot of good social organizations out here, but again, how do we focus on job creation in our communities? We talk to youth and we tell them that if you can play the game, you can make the game. And we truly believe that technology is a vehicle to do that. So we're working in St. Louis to try to create urban technology programs that will allow individuals and youngsters how to get into the coding mechanisms, how to create jobs from that perspective, and how to really use their brains in order to move forward. When they see entrepreneurs that are like themselves, they're able to see some kind of role models, et cetera. So if we're able to help move that black business community forward, we then can help create jobs in the community, because that's very important for individuals to see that. So again, in St. Louis, we're trying to create a mechanism where we have minority business mentorship programs where we grow minority businesses, therefore helping and growing minority jobs in the community. It's very imperative and important as we look at all the issues that have happened in Ferguson, again, communities across the country, that I think that we as a country are trying to move forward. We know there are imbalances, we know there are problems, but if we focus again on job creation and make that a very vehicle and very major part, then we can really change the lives of individuals across this country. I just want to share one quick story of a youngster in St. Louis by the name of Jalen Bledsoe. He's 16 years old, started his company 3 years ago. He has 120 employees and $3 million in revenue. So he can show that kids can have the opportunity to move forward by understanding technology, understanding job creation. We can really turn our economy around. Thank you.
I can honestly say two things. When I met Dr. Lance, he was the first economist I've ever met. I love that jacket. But in public school here in Boston, where I went, Madison Park High is in the building, and I never met an economist. I never met a black PhD. So it was an honor and a privilege to take Dr. Lance into Roosevelt High School and have him meet young black kids who had never met an economist who talked about figures and stats. It was always, we need a new playground and we need a new swing and a new basketball court. He came in and he started teaching and explaining from the ground level of economics in a way that they had never heard, and frankly, I hadn't heard exactly. So I just want to thank Dr. Lance for contributing to the movie and to the lives of the young kids at Roosevelt.
Thank you.
And our next speaker, our next person to speak about the movie is actually the husband of the lady who ran the streets of St. Louis with me to make this movie happen. And not just the movie, we didn't go to shoot a movie. We went to help kids. And after the fact, they came back and documented it. So we didn't go to make the movie. We went and did the work. Then somebody else said, hey, let's film this. But Dave Spence was there, and he spoke for himself in the movie, and he can speak for himself now as far as what he thinks. In your comments, please.
Thank you. Okay, I have a score to settle with Boston. Will you let the Cardinals win, for God's sakes? Come on. I know it was a long time in between World Series, but golly, we could use some good news in St. Louis, okay? Okay. And we are happy to have you get Sandoval because he's been killing us with the Giants. All right, well, I think the movie, sometimes, when you've seen something, I've seen it probably 10 times, and you get a little numb to it, but each time I see something new in it, and every time I see it, I get more sad because I'm a seventh-generation Missourian. I ran for governor of our state. I did not win. The reason I ran is because I care. It's not a matter of political affiliation. It's a matter of what's in your heart and your soul. And what I see is, in that movie, is a lack of understanding and a lack of knowledge of elected officials that are more worried about the next election than trends, families, lives, and education. What happened in that film, the symptoms are what's important, is to learn from it. Failing schools, lack of opportunity, being left in the dust economically. And so, yes, that's the symptom. I think it's more important that we concentrate on the cure. Not just in St. Louis, not just in Missouri, but all of our country. So appreciate it, thanks. If only 300,000 of you would be Missouri citizens, I would have been Missouri governor. No. You know, I think that you can't live life in the rearview mirror. And so you've got to look at it and say, what are the systemic problems that not only happen in Ferguson or in St. Louis, what are happening in every city? And this is not just a black problem. You go to any small town, and the amount of poverty and the ignorance is appalling. It is a nationwide problem, and we've got to reset the clock and start talking. We've got to stop the finger pointing. We've got to stop the blame game. We've got to stop the I'm right, you're wrong mentality that is so pervasive in the press and in our daily conversations. And we have to come together as Americans and solve this problem collectively. And too many people lead without learning and listening first. Thank you.
In the interest of time and getting to the panel discussions, we're not going to take questions about the movie. If you want to send us a tweet or email or Facebook comment, that'd be wonderful. We want to get to the panel. I want to thank the people, my brothers, for all participating in the movie. And there's a lot more folks who couldn't be here. And thank you for witnessing with us. Thank you, brothers.